Season 12 of Overwatch 2 has arrived, and it's brought with it Haru Persona 5, Marianne Fire, Juno. It's brought Juno. But it's also brought a new game mode in Clash, a new mechanic in wave respawns, new balance changes, and of course, new skins. So we may as well start there. I mean, this battle pass has a bit of an Egyptian theme going, so like there's gotta be a skin for Venture. They have a voice line about wanting to become a mummy. And ooh, Ramatra as well. I mean, his initial design was based on Anubis, like surely there's gonna be a skin going in there for him. What else then? Oh, like Juno, of course, like it's her release in the battle pass. She's gotta have something here. This is her release season. Let's see what we got. Blizzard, if you're gonna insult me, just call me a slur. At least I can get a story out of that. So I wasn't paying much to the news surrounding Season 12. Why, you ask? Well, there's two answers, but the one I'll give you is that the easiest way to be pleasantly surprised is to have no expectations at all. It makes the sub the bare minimum pleases you. So we may as well start here. What is this, Blizzard? The character who says they want to be a mummy and the character who was once based on Anubis, not even mentioned. The new hero, absent. The Egyptian character, Japanese themed skin. This battle pass is themed around Egyptian mythology, so can I also ask, why is there a Wizard of Oz Ash reference? Why is Sigma dressed like a sailor? Why is there a bunch of Payday 2 skins? I mean, in fairness, the skins are all solid. Like Anubis Reaper, I vibe with it. It's great. It's a lovely skin. But why is it on Reaper? Like, this skin was nearly tailor-made for Ramatra or even Venture. But before I speak about them two, I just need to ask about what's going on with the battle passes recently. Season 10, nicknamed Venture 4th. Themed around the new character release at that time, no battle pass skin for the newest character. Juno, exact same thing has happened this season. Sure, the season may not be fully themed around her, but why are the new hero releases not getting release skins within the battle pass? And to return to Ram and Venture, Ramatra's last battle pass skin was both 1, ass, and 2, released in October last year. And Venture, not one battle pass skin yet. It has been 2 seasons since their release. Give them something, Blizzard. I mean, even beyond the initial design, Ramatra has actual lore ties to Anubis, but I should clarify something as well. Listen lads, I stopped caring about Overwatch lore back in 2019. For 2 reasons. 1, I was getting into the game as more of a competitive experience rather than a deep story-rich one. And the second, we were being drip-fed lore for 3 years, then their lead writer left in 2020. This isn't to say I don't value lore and art direction in games at all. While I do believe gameplay is the most important aspect of any game, bar something like a visual novel, lore, story, and art direction are incredibly vital. Half the reason a character will interest me at first will be their design. Then if I like their gameplay, I'll keep playing. I mean, the Dragon Cinematic was how I got into this game in the first place. I just don't really care for the Overwatch lore anymore after how often we have gotten slapped in the face for trying to care about it. You all know about that age mistake that Blizzard made. Lore is something that needs to be respected, which is why I don't respect this. So to me, someone who just views Overwatch as a good time with my friends, someone who doesn't really enjoy the new skins that get released and doesn't plan to spend any money on the game, the lack of new skins for Venture, Ramatra, and Juno doesn't change a damn thing. But for the people who do love these characters, the people who love Venture, who love Ramatra, who are enjoying the new release Juno, the people who would want to spend money on these skins, the people who want to see new content for their favorite characters, the people who just want a crumb of anything, they're willing to give their souls for you, Blizzard, and you're just giving them nothing. It's just a slap in the face. But that's enough talking about cosmetics. Let's look at the new gameplay changes. Can I go back to talking about the existence of nothing? Well, before I talk about something questionable, I may as well talk about something slightly less questionable. Starting with our new hero, I've already spoken about Juno before, and most of my points remain true. She's incredibly fun, I wish she could headshot, and I wish the right click was a little bit more responsive. I also think that the devs took the wrong feedback for certain changes. Like making her burst feel slower just feels bad. But if you want the in-depth discussion, you can find it there. So what do we have next? Alright, first off, the big thing this patch, wave respawns. These are weird. So first, respawn times are increased, so now it's 12 seconds by default and 14 in overtime, except on Flashpoint where it's still 13. However, now when someone dies, if someone else dies within 6 seconds of them, they will share the first player's respawn timer. If no one dies within those 6 seconds, the player's respawn gets reduced by 2 seconds, making it the same as pre-Season 12. However, if the payload is near a checkpoint or overtime is active, these wave respawns will be disabled. Unfortunately, I haven't played with these in enough situations to have the most informed thoughts on them, but my first impressions are that this has the potential to be either infuriating to play against or just an okay addition. Staggered respawns are an insane issue in uncoordinated environments, so pretty much 99% of Overwatch 2 games, which means that this is actually solid to help the Roadhog on my team stop walking forward on zone, but this works in reverse as well. The punishment for being killed isn't as drastic as before, but with a change like this, you really need to give it some time to see how it plays out in all levels of play, but as it stands, I really don't think that it should have been added into competitive play at minimum. I think quick play, you could have it there, you can test it out in there, and I suppose it works better in a more casual environment, but in ranked, I don't think this fits. Now when it comes to this patch, I do have to say, it's not that bad honestly. I mean, D.Va got a nerf, even though it's only small. With the point I'm at mentally, I'll take it. The Lifeweaver changes are absolutely lovely. Lucio players are rejoicing now that his damage has been restored. And I mean, Junkrat, like, okay, yeah, he kind of got a bit of a nerf overall, really. But the Ricochet changes, they're kind of cool. So, what's there for me to complain about, really? No, no, no! Alright, let's just start here. You know I don't like this character. I know that I'm immensely biased against this character, but I have to say it. These character changes, whether you view them as buffs or nerfs, and let's be real, you cannot count 0.05 seconds as a nerf, just remove one of the most unique aspects about her, being that she was threatening when landing headshots and pretty laughable if she was a body shot bandit. This just takes that away from her entirely while making her stronger and easier. Like, do you really need to sell those 2 extra Kiriko skins? Do you really? Because I think the first 12,000 are enough. Just get her out of my sight, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. Okay. Who's next? Lads, I'm gonna go insane. Okay, these Sojourn changes, realistically, they're fine. By herself, these are grand. I'll live. However, just like real life, my thoughts change once the parasite gets involved. Mercy players, I know I angered you once, and I do apologize, but let's be peaceful for just a moment, alright? Just listen to me. Before I bring up the moth, we have to look at the elephant in the room. 7 heroes have been brought down to 225 HP. 8 if we count Pharah. Juno, Kiriko, Mercy, Moira, Lucio, Hanzo, and Echo have all had their HP pools cut. Now, why is this? Well, it's because all these characters are labeled as mobile according to Blizzard. Listen, 6 of the 7, yeah, alright, makes sense. But Hanzo, mobile, Hanzo. Editing Rory here. I was rushing to get this video out on time and in the process completely forgot to mention Sombra. Not only did she join the cast of characters being brought to 225 HP, she also got a compensation buff for it, which was a little bit excessive. This neat little chart made by Questron shows why that's the case. 71% of a character's HP is kinda absurd. So basically, in before Sombra gets gutted to being even worse than she was before this change. Now, in certain cases, to make up for the new HP, they were given something extra. And look, that's grand, I guess, but my personal issue is that this just undoes the point of Season 9, which was reducing one-shots and the threat of burst damage. We're just back to where we started. Junkrat and Hanzo can now one-shot these characters again without a damage boost. Widow can charge her shots for less time versus these characters, and Pharah can now double-tap them again with directs. Honestly, as a DPS player, I'll accept these changes, because I hate the HP pool and hitbox changes personally. I did not find them, but that is a different discussion. But that doesn't change the fact that Blizzard is just defeating the purpose of Season 9, which just looks silly when you really look at it. But where does Mercy come into this? In general, a 30% damage boost does not change any breakpoints at all, with or without the new HP changes. But think about this for just a moment. Sojourn just got buffed. Are you prepared, mentally and physically, for another 2 months of Mercy Sojourn every single game? Like I said earlier, I have no issue with the Sojourn changes whatsoever. By herself, I think she's perfectly fine, but I just know she's going to be combined with this new Mercy buff. There's also how more damage boost is not helping with the entire point of Season 9 being to reduce burst damage. More damage boost just increases damage, like it's in the name. Like we're just slowly trickling our way back to pre-Season 9 and Overwatch 1 versions of the game. The 60 healing per second she got, I mean, it's grand, lads, let's be real. With the DPS passive, it'll be fine. She can have this and it'll be grand. But I will say, like I have already said before, buffing damage boosts just is not a good idea, because all that's going to happen is pocketing is going to get stronger and more annoying, and of course more common. All we have left now is Clash, a game mode stranger than the reason that I have this thing in my room. Like, why is it even in here? This doesn't even belong to me. Alright, Clash is weird. It's just weird. Assuming you don't know how it works, there's 5 points, 2 on your side, 2 on the enemies, 1 in the middle. Capture 1, the one on the opposite side unlocks, first to 5 wins. The main thing I want to talk about is how this mode ends up playing out, because I haven't liked this aspect of it since we first got to play it months ago in the trial. There's two ways it can play out. It's either 1. Whoever wins the first point wins the game, or 2. Whoever wins the final neutral point wins the game. Let me explain. To start with the first point, you can effectively just turtle inside the first point if you win the first fight. When the point moves on to the next, if you recognize that you're not going to be able to take a balanced fight like the first one, you can just give it up, lay near the choke just to poke out the enemy. Once they cap, you retreat back to the first point, and now you're the one with the advantage because you're already set up to defend, meaning the other team has to push through these small ass chokes to get you. If you just keep bouncing back and forth like this, you just win by the end. But of course, this is extremely unrealistic in most situations, and that's absolutely true. So why don't we look at the much more common scenario 2. The first fight is neutral. Either team wins. Whoever loses then has an advantage on the next point because they're effectively defending it. If they win that point, the first point is reset back to neutral, with neither side having an advantage since they both need to come in, effectively attacking the point. If you keep bouncing back and forth, one team winning most neutral fights and the other team winning their advantage defending fights, one neutral win is all it takes for the team who is playing advantage the whole time to win the entire game. Are both situations I mentioned on the specific side? Yes, obviously, every single game won't play out like that, but what does happen is whichever team lost the previous point always has an advantage going into the next. Comeback mechanics are fine, but this is less of a comeback mechanic and more of a way to just create a tug of war, and that's without even mentioning how if you bring it to the third point on the edge of either team, it's nearly guaranteed that the team who that point belongs to just wins because their spawn door is right there. I like the concept of Clash, it's just that the execution is extremely poor, and the map design doesn't really help with this. I mean, both maps are just rectangles with choke points. Like, keep these away from a 5-year-old, these are actual choking hazards. While the skins are all really good, they're not being given to the right characters, and the themes of the skins themselves clash against each other. But who cares about that? I just got an email off of Blizzard. They just called me a I can get such a good story out of this season. Hello, this is the first Overwatch Focus video we've had in a while, but I already have a variety one made and ready to go, so you'll see that soon. Sorry for how negative this video seems, there's no real way around it, so I tried to lighten it up as much as I could. If you've any thoughts on Season 12, sure, let me know. I'm interested to see in what others have to say. But for my usual self-promotion, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Discord, all in the description, so you know where to look if you want those. But for now, I'm done for today, so if you're still here, go on. Drop a like, a sub, all that YouTube stuff. I'll talk to you next time, lads. Watch out for all